In these times of global change, people seek happiness, success, and security. Some rely on luck, others strive to accumulate wealth, and some place their hopes in power and prestige. But the Buddha, who attained enlightenment through his own efforts, illuminates another path, a path far more noble and enduring, the virtue of gratitude. Gratitude is the foundation of high moral character, the essence of complete humanity, and the source of prosperity in this world and the next. Today's Dharma talk will take you deep into the ocean of Dharma teachings, exploring the meaning, value, and immense power of gratitude through invaluable Buddha words from the Tripitaka. Gratitude, katayu, comes from the Pali word katayu, which can be broken down into kata, meaning something done or good deeds performed by others, and sati, meaning knowing. Therefore, katayu means someone who recognizes the kindness shown to them or acknowledges the gratitude owed to those who have been kind to them. Katavedi, katawi dei, comes from kata and vedi, where vedi means knowing or repaying. Thus, katavedi means someone who repays the kindness shown. The Buddha always used these two words together, because knowing kindness alone, without repaying it, is not considered complete. The Buddha stated in the Anguttara Nikaya, Dukkha-nivada, first section, monks, there are two types of people rare in the world, those who have done favors beforehand, and those who are grateful and repay kindness. This expression of gratitude shows that the Buddha praised both the giver and the receiver as rare qualities in the world. The rarity of these two types of individuals reflects the human nature's tendency to be indulgent and self-centered. However, those who cultivate their minds through Dharma can develop this noble quality. Furthermore, in the Sutta Nikaya of the Khuddaka Nikaya, the Buddha stated that gratitude is a crucial component of a virtuous person. Those lacking gratitude are considered unrighteous, regardless of their wealth or high status. Parents, great teachers, and the Brahma of their children are the most important figures in his teachings. This is one of the most valuable sermons in the Tripitaka. The Itiputaka is a Buddhist scripture that illustrates the status of parents in the eyes of the Buddha. In the Itiputaka Nikaya, the Buddha states, "Monks, you are permitted to treat your parents as if they were Brahma, because parents are considered Brahma to their children, the first teachers, and those worthy of respect." The word Brahma here has a profound meaning. In Buddhist perspective, Brahma is a being endowed with the four Brahma Vihara, divine qualities, loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. Parents possess all these qualities in their treatment of their children. From the moment a mother receives a child in her womb, she endures all hardships without complaint, bears the pain of childbirth, nurtures the child with loving milk, teaches them to speak, walk, and eat, and protects them from danger at all times. Whenever she has time, parents work hard to support their families, providing their children with education, moral guidance, and opening doors of opportunity in life. The teachings of Fra Sirimankacharn elaborate on the 5 virtues of parents towards their children. Firstly, they protect their children from sin, preventing them from committing wrongdoings both morally and legally. Secondly, they instill virtues such as honesty, diligence, frugality, and kindness. Thirdly, they provide education and life skills. Fourthly, they find suitable spouses, ensuring their children are married to good partners. Fifthly, they provide inheritance at the appropriate time, avoiding excessive stinginess and sharing resources wisely. Wealth should be given at the appropriate time. The Buddha's teachings in the Sankara Sutta clearly outline 5 ways in which children should repay their parents' kindness. Children should care for their mothers, who are the primary focus. Thus, they raised us, so we shall continue to care for them, perform their duties, maintain the family lineage, and conduct ourselves appropriately for the afterlife. After their passing, we shall dedicate merit to them. The first point, they raised us, so we shall continue to care for them, is the heart of filial piety, remembering the kindness received and repaying it by caring for them in their old age or illness. The second point, perform their duties, means helping parents with household chores, work, or any other responsibilities, not remaining indifferent and letting the elderly work hard alone. The third point is to uphold the family's reputation and honor, avoiding any conduct that would bring shame or sorrow to one's parents. The fourth point is to conduct oneself in a manner worthy of inheriting the family fortune, proving oneself to be a good son, daughter, possessing both virtue and ability. The fifth point is to perform meritorious deeds for one's parents after their passing, refraining from drinking alcohol even after their death and continuing to perform meritorious acts to dedicate to them so they may attain happiness in a good afterlife. Can the kindness of one's parents be repaid? This is a deeply contemplative question. The Buddha answered this question profoundly. Monks, I tell you that the kindness of one's parents cannot be easily repaid. Even if a son carried his mother and father on one side and his father on the other, enduring hardship like this for 100 years, it would still not be enough. Quote, caring for one's parents by bathing, massaging, feeding, providing clothing and bedding, and medical care, is still not enough to repay their kindness. The only way to truly repay them is by establishing them in right view, faith, morality, generosity, and wisdom. That is the true repayment, and it surpasses all other forms of repayment. This teaching clearly shows that the highest and most excellent way to repay parents is by leading them into the Dharma, guiding them to have faith in the Triple Gem, to have morality, to be generous, and to possess wisdom. This is true repayment and surpasses any other form of repayment. Gratitude towards teachers and benefactors is also important. In the Sigaraka Sutta, the Buddha categorized 6 directions as individuals we should prioritize in life: placing teachers as the right direction, which is likened to the direction of honor, is significant because in ancient times, the bridge was considered an auspicious direction and a sign of respect. The Buddha taught 10 ways of treating teachers, 5 of which were rising to greet them, approaching them respectfully, listening attentively, and studying arts and sciences with respect. Teachers, in turn, had 5 duties towards rights: guiding them well, teaching them thoroughly, imparting all knowledge, advising among friends and in the royal court, and ensuring the security of those rights. In a broader and deeper sense, Buddhism also teaches us to remember the kindness of those who are good friends, Kalyanamitra. Here, Kalyanamitra refers to true friends with virtue, including teachers who taught us, those who guided us when we were lost, those who helped us in times of difficulty, or even people we have never met. It is their work or ideas that change our lives for the better. In the Mahavagga of the Samyutta Nikaya, the Buddha said to Ananda, when Ananda asked if a good friend, Kalyanamitra, was half of the holy life, the Buddha replied, "Do not say that, Ananda. A good friend is not half of the holy life, but the entire holy life." Because a person with a good friend is supported in practicing the Noble Eightfold Path completely. Quote, "Therefore, gratitude towards a good friend is extremely important on the path of spiritual development. Those who receive the kindness of a good friend cut the chain of their own growth." The Buddha, the supreme teacher above all teachers, is the teacher of gods, humans, and all beings. This appears in the Buddha's virtues as stated in the Samyutta Nikaya. The most important virtue of the Buddha, in relation to gratitude, is that he discovered the path to liberation from suffering and sacrificed his personal happiness to teach sentient beings out of great compassion. Gratitude towards the Buddha is therefore expressed through practicing his teachings, not merely through chanting or bowing, but by seriously applying the Dharma in daily life. This is the truest way to repay the Buddha's kindness. The result of gratitude is a prosperous life, free from decline. The Buddha affirmed in several places in the Tripitaka that those who practice gratitude will receive many good results in this life. In the Anguttara Nikaya, Katukkanapada, the Buddha spoke of those who care for their parents, saying that any child who cares for their parents and lives in the first direction of life, those who do good deeds will be praised in the present and will receive happiness in heaven after death. The evident benefits in this life include several aspects. 1. Receiving love and support from parents, because children who care for their parents receive their blessings and good wishes in abundance. Parental blessings are considered highly auspicious. 2. Receiving respect from society. Individuals who are known to care for their parents well are respected by those around them, creating a love that benefits all aspects of life. 3. Having a peaceful and happy mind, because those who fulfill their duties to their children completely will not feel guilt or regret. Their minds will be light and calm. 4. Future descendants will treat us the same way. The law of karma and setting a good example inspire filial children. Many people have filial children and grandchildren as a result of the merit of filial piety in their next lives, in addition to the benefits in this life. The Buddha also mentioned the merits of filial piety in the next life for those who are grateful. The asterisk Predavatu, a collection of stories about ancestors, contains many accounts of people who performed meritorious deeds for their ancestors and received positive results, including those who were reborn in happy realms because of their filial piety in this life. In the Mangasutta, a collection of 38 auspicious blessings, the third blessing is Matapachupatanam, which means caring for one's parents. This is an auspicious blessing in life, signifying prosperity and happiness. The Buddha affirmed that caring for one's mother is one of the highest blessings in a human life. The story of King Asasatru provides an important lesson, the most poignant and clear lesson in the Buddhist scriptures regarding the consequences of ingratitude is the story of King Ajatasattu of Magadha. He was misled by Devadatta and betrayed his father, King Bimbisa, in order to seize royal possessions. Although King Ajatasattu later repented and sought an audience with the Buddha at Amravana, as recorded in the Samanyaphala Sutta of the Digha Nikaya, the Buddha told Ananda that if King Ajatasattu had not committed that great sin, he would have attained enlightenment, becoming a Sotapanna, stream enterer, right there. This is a poignant example clearly showing that ingratitude is a grave sin that blocks the path to nirvana and leads to a decline in life, both in the worldly and transcendental realms. Ingratitude towards the triple gem, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, is the highest form of gratitude. In Buddhism, gratitude has a short range of levels that extend from the individual to something greater and supreme, remembering the virtues of the triple gem, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. The Buddha's virtues are immeasurable to all sentient beings. He cultivated perfections for 4 immeasurable eons and 100,000 kalpas, sacrificing all his personal happiness to find the path to liberation from suffering. And after finding it, he continued to preach his teachings to sentient beings with great compassion for 45 years without ceasing. In the Mahaparinibbana Sutta of the Digha Nikaya, before his passing into nirvana, the Buddha gave his final teaching. O monks, I warn you now that all compounded things are impermanent. Ordinarily, you should strive with diligence and mindfulness. Quote, this final instruction represents the great compassion of the Buddha towards his disciples until his last moment. Remembering this virtue of the Buddha and putting his teachings into practice is the purest and highest expression of gratitude towards him. The Dharma is the truth discovered by the Buddha in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, his first sermon. In it, he expounded the 4 noble truths: suffering, the origin of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the path to the cessation of suffering. These are the supreme truths that can truly lead beings out of the cycle of rebirth. Gratitude towards the Dharma is expressed through studying, learning, practicing, and spreading the Dharma. In the Dhammapada, the Kukka Nikaya verses state that, whoever gives the gift of Dharma surpasses all other gifts, whoever tastes the Dharma surpasses all other tastes. Quote, whoever rejoices in the Dharma conquers all other joys. The Sangha, the monastic community, comprises the noble disciples who practice well and rightly, bearing witness that the Buddha's Dharma is truly achievable and produces tangible results. The Sangha also fulfills the duty of preserving the Dharma and Vinaya, maintaining the Buddha's teachings for future generations to learn and practice. Gratitude towards the Sangha is expressed through offering the four necessities: food, clothing, shelter, and medicine, supporting the Sangha in their studies and practice of the Dharma, listening to sermons from the Sangha, and putting what they have heard into practice. Gratitude towards the land and society is also a form of social responsibility. From a Buddhist perspective, gratitude is not limited to the family or personal level, but extends to society and the wider community. In the Chakravarti Sahanatha Sutta of the Digha Nikaya, the Buddha demonstrates that gratitude, the decline of society, begins with people not sharing and not being generous, which are symptoms of indulging in mutual kindness and gratitude. Gratitude towards society is expressed in many forms. Paying taxes honestly, because the country we live in was built with the taxes of our ancestors since their time. Roads, hospitals, schools, all things built by previous generations. Preserving the environment, because nature and the environment are a legacy that previous generations preserved, and we have a duty to protect and pass it on to future generations. And contributing to the common good, because we all depend on each other. No one can survive alone. Farmers produce food, build and repair homes, doctors treat diseases, teachers, they all contribute immensely to us. Show gratitude at the national level and in all circumstances. The scriptures and teachings of Buddhist scholars emphasize the importance of gratitude, extending to the nation and country. This means remembering the kindness of ancestors who built the nation, those who fought for its independence and survival. Patriotism. Based on gratitude is pure and enduring. It's not love of nation based on fear or hatred of others, but love of nation because of appreciation for its kindness and a desire to preserve and improve what has been received. Ingratitude is a grave danger to life, a symptom of mental decay. To understand gratitude more clearly, it's necessary to study its opposite, ingratitude. The Buddha pointed out that ingratitude arises from three defilements: delusion, hatred, and greed. Delusion is forgetfulness and a lack of remembrance. Holding on to the good deeds others have done for us is like a blindfold, preventing us from appreciating what we receive. Anger is resentment. Sometimes people drink in the kindness of their benefactors because of minor conflicts, then erase all the good deeds they've received out of anger and resentment. Greed is insatiable desire. Some people even betray their benefactors for personal gain. This is the most serious form of ingratitude. In the Anguttara Nikaya, Katukkanapada, the Buddha stated that ungrateful people are classified as evil-minded and will inevitably receive the consequences of their actions according to the law of karma. Even if the karma doesn't immediately bear fruit, it will follow them like embers extinguished by fire. Therefore, ingratitude is not merely a matter of social etiquette, but it is karma that gives rise to consequences. Those who are ungrateful to their parents lack a spiritual pillar. When they fall into hardship, they have no true support. Furthermore, there are karmic consequences at the societal level. A society where people are ungrateful lacks compassion, trust, and ultimately collapses. As the Buddha stated in the Chakravarti Sutta, a decaying society begins with people squandering each other's kindness. In the story of Kumparasalaka, there is the ungrateful son who, when his father grew old, drove him out of the house to keep all the wealth for himself. Ultimately, everything collapsed. The son faced ruin, while the father, though impoverished, received help from good people and lived a peaceful life. These worlds are not just children's fairy tales, but life lessons with profound psychological and sociological implications. Gratitude is closely linked to loving kindness, one of the four sublime states of mind, Brahma Vihara. In the Metta Sutta, the Buddha's teachings on loving kindness, the Buddha expressed the wish for all beings to be happy, to be attain well-being, for all living beings, both those that are trembling and those that are stable, to be happy. When we extend loving kindness to our parents and benefactors, it naturally combines with gratitude, because those who remember kindness develop gentle and soft hearts, which nourishes and cultivates loving kindness. Gratitude is also linked to shame and disdain, hiri-ottappa, which means shame and disdain for wrongdoing. Ottappa, or shame and fear of the consequences of evil deeds, is the Buddha's term for these two virtues that protect the world. Gratitude, Kritanyuta, and shame, hiri-ottappa, are deeply interconnected. Those who remember the kindness of their parents possess shame, hiri, refusing to do anything that would sadden or shame them, and they have fear, ottappa, fearing the negative consequences of evil on their family. Therefore, gratitude is the foundation of morality, binding individuals to goodness. Gratitude is linked to generosity, dana, morality, sila, and meditation, bhavana, in the Buddhist principles of merit-making. Giving alms to parents and teachers is considered highly meritorious because the recipient's goodness contributes to the Buddha's merit. In the Dakshinavibhanga Sutta of the Majjhima Nikaya, the Buddha categorized individuals. Merit is cultivated according to moral virtues. The virtuous conduct of those who are grateful has a stronger motivation than that of those who are ungrateful, because the grateful observe moral precepts not only for themselves but also to preserve the honor of their parents and teachers who have diligently educated them. Furthermore, in meditation, those who are grateful to the Buddha reflect on his virtues, which is the origin of Buddhanusati, one of the 40 meditation practices. Therefore, gratitude serves as a gateway to meditation. An example of a grateful person in the Tripitaka is the Venerable Mahakassapa, one of the Buddha's chief disciples. He demonstrated his gratitude to the Buddha in a particularly impressive way. The Mahaparinibbana Sutta in the Digha Nikaya recounts that when the Buddha passed away, after the Buddha's passing, Mahakassapa, who was then elsewhere, rushed to Kushinagar to pay homage to the Buddha's relics with the utmost respect. Furthermore, after the Buddha's death, Mahakassapa initiated the first compilation of the Dharma and Vinaya to preserve the Buddha's teachings from being lost. This is an example of the greatest display of gratitude, dedicating one's life to continuing what the Buddha had created. The story of Queen Samavati's boundless gratitude is found in the Dharmapada Katha, Guddaka Nikaya. She recounted the story of Queen Samavati, the wife of King Udina of Kosambi, who showed great gratitude to her attendant, Kusuda, who brought her the Dharma. The queen revered Kusuda as her Dharma teacher and followed her example. Even though Kushta was of much lower status, this story teaches us that true filial piety is not limited by rank, title, or social standing, but depends on the value of what is received. If someone gives us knowledge and wisdom, we should be grateful to them, no matter who they are. The story of the Venerable Shiva's filial piety towards his mother illustrates this. The Apadanagatara states that the Venerable Shiva was the most revered monk during the time of the Buddha. He showed the utmost respect for his mother, both in that life and in past lives. Due to the merit of his filial piety, he received abundant offerings because people came to him with respect. This is a concrete example showing the tangible benefits of filial piety towards parents. This is evident even in worldly aspects such as material possessions. And the story of King Prasendashaka's gratitude to his friend, Kanyanamat. King Prasendashaka was a great king of the Kosala kingdom, but what is impressive is that he consistently showed gratitude to the Buddha throughout his reign. The Samyutta Nikaya, specifically the Kolasamyutta, records a conversation between the Buddha and King Prasendashaka, where he expressed the highest gratitude to the Buddha and never forgot the kindness he received in terms of Dharma. Gratitude in modern life, adapting Dharma to the digital age. No matter how much the world changes, human nature and the law of karma remain. Therefore, gratitude remains important and applicable in the present era, where families are fragmented due to work and education in different places. The way we express gratitude must adapt. Showing gratitude could be through phone calls to inquire about their well-being, sending gifts on special occasions, making time to visit home often, or even sending photos or videos to show parents that you are doing well and haven't forgotten them. In education, students these days often receive scholarships from the government or private sector, funds that come from public taxes or benevolent donors. Remembering this kindness leads to dedication to studies and ultimately contributing to society a proper way to repay kindness. Gratitude in the workplace and in working life is also important. Showing gratitude to employers, supervisors, or the organization that gave us opportunities is crucial. Those who are grateful to their organization work willingly and honestly, without taking advantage of others, but they must be careful not to exploit them. Gratitude has often been perceived as surrender or acceptance of injustice. True gratitude is based on honesty and mutual respect, not on unreasonable bowing. In an era of global environmental crisis, viewing nature with gratitude is crucial. We all benefit from nature daily. Our breath is oxygen produced by trees, the water we drink is from the natural water cycle, and the food we eat is given by the earth. In the Attavasu Sutta of the Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha taught moderation in consumption, which is a form of showing gratitude to nature and the world. This includes not destroying the environment unnecessarily, planting trees, and conserving water and energy. Repaying nature appropriately is a way to cultivate gratitude. The practice of mindfulness involves remembering the kindness of others. The Buddha taught that the things we frequently remember become habits of the mind. Regularly remembering the kindness of those who have been kind to us is therefore an effective way to build a grateful habit. One easy method is to bow to your parents or reflect on their kindness for a moment every morning before leaving home. Consider what you can do to benefit them or show your gratitude that day, even if it's something small. Another method is to meditate by thinking of the people who have done good to you, from your parents, teachers, good friends, to those you don't know but who have indirectly benefited you, and then extend loving kindness to them. To those individuals, expressing gratitude through actions is important. Gratitude that is not expressed through actions is incomplete. After the Buddha separated gratitude and reciprocity, he explained that gratitude is knowing the kindness shown, and reciprocity is repaying it. Both are necessary for complete gratitude. Physical expressions such as rising to greet, bowing respectfully, and helping with tasks are all expressions of gratitude. Verbal expressions such as sincerely thanking someone, expressing appreciation for their good deeds, and sharing the kindness of benefactors are expressions of gratitude through speech. Physical expressions such as offering blessings to benefactors, making merit, and applying the Buddha's teachings in one's life are expressions of gratitude through the heart. Gratitude as a virtue for those who desire liberation. Gratitude is not merely a social duty, but a virtue itself. In many lifetimes of the Buddha, the Bodhisattva demonstrated extreme gratitude towards various individuals, as part of accumulating merit to attain Buddhahood. Consistently practicing gratitude reduces ego, because remembering others and their kindness helps the mind move beyond the narrow confines of selfishness and opens up to connection with others, a crucial step towards liberation. Gratitude in the dimension of wisdom. Gratitude and non-self at the deepest level. Gratitude is connected to the wisdom that sees non-self. When we consider something as ours, it is actually the result of the combination of many factors. Our body, for example, is not ours. Our wisdom arises from the food that farmers consume, the rainwater they collect, and the elements they extract from the earth. Our intelligence comes from the language developed by previous generations, the knowledge accumulated and passed down by our teachers, and the values instilled by our mothers. Seeing this, we realize that we create nothing solely by ourselves. Everything depends on factors from others. This enlightenment makes gratitude natural, unavoidable, because we see the truth that we truly owe a debt to everyone and everything. Gratitude and dependent origination, paticca samuppada, the principle of dependent origination, or idpakayata, one of the most important principles in Buddhism, states that everything arises from many factors. Nothing exists independently. When we deeply understand dependent origination, we see that survival in every moment depends on the cooperation and support of many things. Gratitude, from this perspective, this is not merely a personal feeling, but an understanding of the truth of interdependence. The Buddha stated in the Majjhima Nikaya, "Whoever sees dependent origination sees the Dhamma. Whoever sees the Dhamma sees dependent origination." Therefore, gratitude, in the realm of wisdom, is linked to the realization of truth and is a part of the path leading to liberation. Important Buddhist teachings concerning gratitude are compiled here from various sections of the Tripitaka to allow students to consider them broadly. From the Anguttara Nikaya, Dukkanapada, Pathamavagga, monks, there are two types of people who are extremely rare in the world: the benefactor and the grateful and appreciative. The benefactor does good deeds first, and the grateful and appreciative know the good deeds done and repay them. Parents are like Brahma to their children, like gods, the first teachers, and worthy of respect. Therefore, those with wisdom should venerate them. Quote, and honoring one's parents with food, drink, clothing, bedding, bathing, and washing their feet. Whoever is grateful, knows their parents' kindness, strives for goodness, has gentle conduct, and does not contempt for anyone, that person will be praised in this world, and after leaving this world, will enjoy happiness in heaven. The appropriate time and place, living in the right circumstances, having performed good deeds in previous lives, and establishing oneself properly, this is the highest blessing. Serving one's parents, supporting one's children and wife, this is the highest blessing. Monks, a son who lives and supports his parents with the four necessities, even if he lives to be 100 years old, cannot repay his parents' kindness. But a son who leads his parents who lack faith to faith, who are immoral to morality, who are stingy to generosity, who are wise to wisdom, that son is said to have repaid his parents' kindness. Gratitude in the context of Thai culture and society. The prominent characteristics of gratitude in Thai society. Thai society has been influenced by Buddhism. Deeply rooted in Buddhism for thousands of years, gratitude is instilled in Thai culture as an integral part of it. This extends from the custom of paying respects to parents on important occasions and holding merit-making ceremonies for ancestors to caring for the elderly within the family. The Thai Songkran festival also has its roots in gratitude. Children and grandchildren return home to pour water and seek blessings from their elders. This act is not merely a ritual but an expression of appreciation and affirmation of the deep relationship between generations. The Wai Kru ceremony, paying respect to teachers, is another example, a tradition passed down through generations in schools, universities, and various institutions. It demonstrates gratitude towards teachers at the institutional level, helping to maintain the relationship between those who know and those who learn. However, contemporary Thai society faces challenges in preserving this traditional gratitude. The consumerist doctrine of filial piety teaches people to prioritize personal happiness. Digital culture makes people engrossed in virtual worlds, and economic competition reduces family time. However, a deep understanding that filial piety is not merely a fading cultural value but a virtue rooted in the truth of life allows us to realize that no matter how the world changes, filial piety remains essential and valuable. Filial piety, as the foundation of a strong family, is the subject of modern psychological research. Research shows that children who grow up in families with an atmosphere of mutual respect and gratitude tend to have better mental health, better relationships, and greater empathy for others. This aligns with the Buddhist saying that a home with parents is a home with Brahma. When the atmosphere in a home is filled with filial piety, it fosters a thriving family. With mutual respect, a home is like heaven on earth, a warm, safe, and secure foundation for all its members to thrive. This is the formula for a life that never falls. We have traveled a long journey through the ocean of Dharma teachings on gratitude. Now it is time to pause and reflect on the heart of it all. True gratitude comprises 3 dimensions. The first dimension is feeling, the heartfelt appreciation, warmth, and joy that arises when remembering the kindness of benefactors. The second dimension is thought, consciously considering what we have received from whom and its value. The third dimension is action, acting to repay kindness in an appropriate way. The formula for a life that never falls, according to the Buddha's teachings, therefore consists of these main components. 1. Know the value. Train your mind to remember the good things you have received. Do not let defilements obscure the truth that you have received support from others. There are many more ways to show gratitude. 2. Express your gratitude. Don't keep your feelings of gratitude hidden. Unexpressed gratitude is incomplete gratitude. 3. Treat them well. Care for your parents consistently. Don't wait until you no longer have the opportunity to regret it. 4. Bring the Dharma to them. The highest form of repayment is to lead your parents and benefactors into the Dharma, helping them develop faith, morality, and wisdom. 5. Preserve the Dharma. Continue the teachings of the Buddha to be passed on to others. Finally, we would like to share a very encouraging quote from the Buddha. Monks, a son who supports his parents is praised by wise people in the present, and after death, he enjoys happiness in heaven. Wherever he resides, that month prospers. This is the blessing for those who live in the lay life. Whoever practices gratitude, cares for their parents, and maintains their parents' lives. Those who live in accordance with the Dharma will be praised in this world and in the next, and will have a happy afterlife. These 2 teachings are assurances from the Buddha himself that those who are grateful will not experience misfortune in this world or the next. May the merit from this Dharma discourse be a vehicle to guide all listeners to deeply understand the Dharma of gratitude, remembering the kindness of their parents, teachers, and all benefactors. May this merit be a factor in bringing happiness and prosperity to the parents and ancestors of all listeners in a good afterlife. If they are still alive, may they have good health, happiness, and be well cared for. May this merit be a factor in enabling all who listen and study to gain wisdom, see the truth, have gentle and broad minds, and live their lives in accordance with the Dharma with happiness forever. Amen. See you again next time. Goodbye.